Hi guys, welcome back. Let's start with the last task of PT listening module, which is write from dictation. This is undoubtedly the most important task in the entire PT test, and not only for listening. The reason is very simple. In this task, you will be listening to a sentence in each question. The total number of questions you get generally is 3, 4, or 5 questions for this task. Minimum is 2, but generally you get 3 or 4, mostly in the real exam. And these questions come right at the end of the test. The reason it's called write from dictation is because you will listen to a sentence only once, and there will be a box in which you need to type the sentence exactly as you hear it. That's why it's called write from dictation. Each sentence is generally somewhere between 8 to 15 words. Sometimes it's very short, sometimes it can be a bit lengthy. Since you listen and you write, this task is integrated. You get points for both listening and writing. Now, the total points which you get from this task, approximately, to listening and writing both, will be somewhere around 25 to 30 points, depending on the number of questions which you get. As per the PT score guide, for every correct word, you get 1 point each. That's all that is written in the PT score guide. So if there are, let's say, 10 words in a sentence, you get 10 points in listening and writing both. So 3 sentences is generally the minimum. Each sentence on an average has 8 to 10 words. So that's easily 24 to 30 points. You can also get 4 questions. So that will increase the overall contribution to listening and writing. That's what makes this task really important, really high weight. Now please remember that there are 2 parts in listening, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 consists of just summarized spoken text, for which you get 1 or 2 questions and an independent timer of 10 minutes per question. And part 2 consists of all tasks from task 2 to task 8, for which you get an overall timer. It's very important that we manage our time well in the listening section, and we should not waste our time on low weight tasks like multiple choice questions in the listening section, so that we have enough time for write from dictation. In my experience, out of the total time of 15 to 22 minutes, which is for part 2 for all tasks from task 2 to task 8 of listening, I think if we have about 7 to 8 minutes left for the last 3 or 4 questions, then that's good time management. Because first you will type the sentence in the box, then obviously you will check your spelling and your sentence structure and grammar and typing, etc. And then you will click next to move on to the next question. All this takes some time. Well, there are a lot of things I want to discuss in this task because it's the most important task, as I have already stated a couple of times. So let's delve into all these things one by one. The first thing is good time management. As I've already mentioned, you need enough time, otherwise it's going to be a problem. The second thing is you can take notes when the audio is going on. As you know, you get a marker pen, like a sketch pen, and erasable plastic sheets to take notes upon. So sometimes people take notes of the initials or words in shorts. For example, instead of environment, people can just write ENV and then note down everything on the sheet and then type it quickly in the box. And if you have good hand-eye coordination, if you're good at listening and good at typing skills, I would recommend you to not take notes and just type in the box directly while the audio is playing. Do not wait for the audio to end. Sometimes people apply that technique, but sometimes if the audio is lengthy or very fast, then you might forget and panic, right? That's why it's best to type notes or type at the same time when the audio is playing. Also, if you're going to type directly, make sure that you have clicked the mouse in the box. Otherwise, you will be typing on the keyboard, but nothing will be typed. So it's very important that you click in the box before the audio starts. Before each audio starts, you get 7 seconds in each question. So in those 7 seconds, be really attentive, be ready, click in the box if you're going to type directly, right? You need your full concentration, your full focus. You cannot be distracted. Otherwise, it's going to be a big, big problem. Also, if you miss the last question or last one or two sentences, if you can't type them and if your time is up without attempting those questions, then obviously you can understand you're going to lose a lot of points, minimum 8 points per sentence, minimum I'm saying, in listening and writing both, which means pretty much your test is sort of wasted because you will lose potentially a lot of marks in listening and writing, both. The other thing is, if you're going to type directly like the way I do, then don't type full words. Just type in short form. Like again, the same example, instead of environment, you can just write ENV. If there's a word like geography and maths, you can just write G and M. That way, what happens is you can type something of everything and then remember what you have typed. Also, while you're typing, keep on speaking the sentence softly so that you don't forget it. For example, let's say there's a sentence, it's a beautiful day to play cricket today. So you have noted something very quickly in short form. So keep on speaking it till you actually correct your full sentence. It's a beautiful day to play cricket today. It's a beautiful day to play cricket. It's a beautiful day to play cricket today. It's a beautiful day to play cricket today. Like that, keep on repeating it so that you don't forget it. Another rule in this task is every sentence, the first word should start with a capital initial. And at the end of every sentence, you must put a full stop. If there is a natural pause and you think a comma is required, for example, the teacher will be taking maths, science and geography lessons this Monday. So after maths and after science, you need to put a comma. So maths, comma, science, comma, and geography lessons this Sunday. Full stop. A full stop is compulsory at the end of every sentence, okay? Please keep that in mind. You should not type the whole sentence in all capitals. Never do that. Only the first letter should be capitalized. What if you get numbers? Should you type them or should you write the number? So if you get the number 6, for example, you can write both SIX or 6. My suggestion is to type in spellings type the word with spelling if possible. That way it's better. But even if you write the number, even if you type the number, it's okay. But let's say there's a word 18th century. So don't write number 1, number 8, TH. Don't write that. Try to write the whole word, EIGSTEENTH. Okay? The other suggestion is, if you get a 2-digit number like 22, again you can write the number 22 together in numeric form, or you write TWENTY-TWO. That's how you write numbers, 2-digit numbers between 21 to 99. You need to put a hyphen, a dash, no space. Okay? Now, which words should you write in capitals? Names of days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Names of months, January to December. Names of people like John Trump, for example, J and T should be capitalized. Names of places, New York, North America, Australia, capitalized. And also if you get names of popular things, like for example, let's say there is a word NASA, NASA, you know that it's a space organization, right? So you write it with all capitals if it's a jargon or an acronym. Acronym or jargons means words in short, like NASA, these words, okay? Also, if you think there's a prominent pause, then put a comma. I already said that before, but I'm just repeating it. If you forget the comma, it's okay. There won't be a major penalty, okay? Now, should you write the spelling in British English or American English? As per PT guidelines, follow any one spelling convention, either British or American, in any particular task. For example, COLOR, that's American. COLOUR, that's British. So try to follow any one. If you by chance mix it, it's okay. There won't be any penalty on the writing score. But as the guideline says, stick to any one, okay? That's highly recommended. Now let me delve a bit more deeper into this task, and that will prove it to you why this task is most important. By the way, whatever I'm going to say now, it's not mentioned in the PT score guide. But out of our experience and my personal experience of training close to 40,000 students in the last 8 years, this is what I have learned. This is how the software works. Whether you wish to believe me or not, that I leave it to you. But I really wish and pray that you believe what I'm going to say. Now, as per the PT score guide, for every correct word you get +1 point. They have mentioned nothing much about the sequence of the words, or what happens if you make mistakes. Nothing much is mentioned, You can read the PT score guide yourself, just Google it and you will see a PDF document. It's free for everyone to see. But on deeper analysis, what I observed and what I think it's still true is every mistake you make, that could be a spelling mistake, it could be a missing word, it could be an extra word which you have added, for example, or it could be a replaced word. So in the audio it says tiger, but I have written lion. So I have missed one word and I have also replaced the existing word. Or if the sequence is not correct. So in the audio, let's say it says Tom and Jerry are best friends, but I have written Jerry and Tom are best friends. Any single mistake I make, there is going to be a penalty. What is a penalty? A penalty is something which affects your scores. Why is it there? Probably because since right from dictation is the last task and it's a very high stakes task, a lot of people miss out on few sentences, or they make silly mistakes due to a lack of proper understanding of grammar or some silly spelling mistakes sometimes, which is very sad and very unfortunate. Now what happens is a penalty. For every mistake, according to my experience, you will lose easily 4 to 8 points in listening sometimes in writing, or sometimes in both. How many points you lose per mistake depends on the type of mistake which you make. So if it's a replacement, so instead of lion I write tiger. For example, let's say the actual sentence is there are many tigers in the zoo in Melbourne, and I write there are many lions in the zoo in Melbourne. Now I have replaced one word, tigers, with lions, right? Still, the sentence which I have written makes sense, but there is a missing word, which means I have broken the sequence. That's a problem. The software, in my experience, will definitely check the sequence of words. So since we have missed a word, definitely it means that there is some issue with my listening skills, not necessarily with my writing skills, because there are no spelling mistakes, there are no grammatical mistakes as of now in my sentence. So there will be some sort of penalty on listening. The second thing is, the second type of mistake, which I forgot to mention earlier, is mistakes of apostrophe S. For example, all the students' parents were invited to the lunch. So when we write a noun followed by a noun, the first noun becomes a possessive noun. And if it's a plural noun, because we are talking about all the students' parents, means parents of all students, after S in the word students, I need to put the apostrophe mark. And if it's about a single person or a single possessive noun, then the apostrophe mark comes before the S. For example, let's say we are talking about a specific student, so it will be the student's parents. So it will be the student, after T the apostrophe, and then S, parents, because we are talking about one student only. Okay, so we need to understand what exactly is conveyed in the audio. Sometimes the audio is really fast, sometimes the accent can be difficult to understand. It could be very Australian or American, British, or a bit, let's say, Chinese Australian or Chinese American accent as well. It could be Indian as well. So a lot of accents can come in the exam, So you need to be really good at your listening skills. Additionally, there can be some disturbance in the background, in the audio itself. There could be some like an echo sound or a hissing sound in the background, like a very unclear combination of different sounds when the audio is going on. And that's why you need to be really attentive and alert. I've already shared the best technique, which is, according to me, if you're good at typing, type while the audio is going on in short form, like ENV, geography and maths, so you write G and M, and later you edit it and keep on repeating the sentence. If you're going to take notes, try the same technique. For small words, just note initials, and for big words, short forms. I think that is the better technique if you're taking notes. But then you have to be quick, because you need to transfer that answer onto the system, right? You need to type it as well. Typing directly obviously saves some precious time. In this task, it's very difficult to predict the total number of questions which we will get. It could be 3 or 4 or 5, sometimes only 2. So we don't know till the last moment how many questions are going to be there. Let's say there are 19 questions. We are on question number 15, which is highlight incorrect words, the second last task. Now 16, 17, 18, 19, all 4 could be right from dictation, or 16 could be highlight incorrect words, which means it will take some more time compared to a question of right from dictation. That's why mentally you need to always be calculating the time. The timer will always be on your screen, the remaining overall time in the listening test, and that's how you manage your overall time smartly. Now, let's say you are not sure about words, which word to write, whether you should write singular or plural. What some people suggest is you write both. For example, let's say the sentence is, all the students' parents were invited to the lunch meeting yesterday. Now you're not sure whether it is lunch meeting or dinner meeting, and whether it is yesterday or today. So what some people write, and some tutors also suggest, is write all possible combinations like this. All students' parents were invited to the lunch space dinner meeting yesterday space today, which means practically adding extra words in your answer, because nothing is mentioned in the PT score guide about adding or not adding extra words. A lot of people have done this in the real exam and still have gotten away with pretty high scores like 8 each or 9 each, sometimes even a perfect 90. But I think this is a very, very, very risky strategy. It might work for someone, maybe, for whom all their other 19 tasks are, let's say, 100% correct, especially tasks involving listening and writing. Okay? And then if they add extra words, like the way I demonstrated, which sounds funny, but a lot of people do it in the exam, the software might give you a benefit of doubt that, hey, all their other tasks are sort of perfect, like their reading, writing, fill in the blanks are perfect, which contributes a lot of marks to writing. Their write essay is perfect. Their summarized written text is perfect. Summarized spoken text is perfect. Listening, fill in the blanks, 100% perfect. No mistakes. Just once I do this in one sentence, maybe the software doesn't care, doesn't mind it much. It gives me a perfect 9 or a band 8 plus score in listening and writing both. But most of the times, this is what I personally feel, there would be a sort of a penalty if there are mistakes in other 19 tasks, especially the integrated tasks which contribute to listening and writing scores. Hence, everyone should not do it. It's highly risky, can be highly counterproductive. The other thing which somebody might do in the real exam is, let's say there's a word, archaeological, and you're not sure about the spelling. So sometimes people write 2 spellings, whichever they think are correct, or sometimes they just write the initial A instead of the word archaeological. All these tips, techniques, strategies can prove to be valuable if everything else is 100% correct before that question. Secondly, even if you're going to try, like adding extra words, if you think that is the best thing to do and you have no other options left, please don't do it for multiple words in all sentences. Like, you may do it once, maybe if that is your last option, maybe in one question of right from dictation. You should not do it in every single question. Never do that. Mostly I've seen that people who are 100% accurate in right from dictation have a very high chance of getting a score of 65 each, which is at the moment 7 each equivalent score to IELTS, or 79 each, which is 8 each equivalent to IELTS. Now, coming to the important question, how to practice this task and what should be the frequency of practicing it, daily, weekly, and how many questions at a time? Firstly, you can definitely practice it from our portal. You will find most of the questions very similar to the actual exam. Second suggestion, practice wearing a headset always. And even if in the exam you're going to take notes and then you're going to type when you practice. Don't only write. After you note, type it on a laptop. Thirdly, either practice it on a portal or just go to our YouTube channel, play the audio for the prediction file for this month from listening or write from dictation specifically, and type the answers in a notepad. Don't type it in Microsoft Word because that will help you with autocorrection, which you don't want help with. Okay? At a time, practice 10 sentences non-stop. So you listen to the audio, you take notes if you wish to, otherwise just type it in notepad or in our portal. Without checking the answer, just go to the next question. And please remember, before you click next, have a quick look. Your sentence should make grammatical sense. At the end, there should be a full stop. And at the beginning, there should be a capital initial for the first word. And all proper nouns should start with a capital letter. By the way, if you get names of elements like carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, or names of subjects like mathematics, geography, science, biology, chemistry, you don't need to write these words in capitals. Means the first letter should remain small. That's what the dictionary suggests. Okay? Okay. Practice 10 sentences non-stop, then check 10 answers together. And while you're checking, try to find out the pattern in your mistakes. Are you making mistakes with es, ed words? Are you making mistakes with singular, plural nouns? Are you making spelling mistakes? Spelling mistakes are really easy to rectify because then you just have to learn that spelling. There's no other alternative, right? Are you forgetting the apostrophe mark? What mistake are you making? That's very important to understand. Are you making mistakes with and the? Now let me explain a simple rule for and the. If you're going to tell something for the first time, if you're introducing a concept, you generally write if it is a singular countable noun. If it is an uncountable noun, for example, nouns which cannot be counted like globalization, milk, food, air, water, then you don't add any articles like a and the before such words. And if you're going to tell something very specific, then you might add the. For example, I'm going to tell you a story today. It's a story because it's a story which you're going to tell the first time because it's today, right? So yeah, continuous. I am going to tell you. Like future continuous maybe. But I'm going to tell you a story about the gifted boy. The gifted boy, right? So the boy who had a gift, for example. So this is a very specific boy, so I write the. The other rule is, after every plural noun, if there is a verb, it will be without s and vice versa. For example, the students sit, full stop. The student sits. So students, s, sit without s. The student without s, sits with s. So that is another way how you check grammar. Try to practice as many sentences as you can from our website and also from our prediction file. You also have our monthly prediction file, which is in a PDF form. Try not to read it. Try to type the answers in Notepad. Just copy paste those sentences. Sometimes if you're lucky, questions are repetitive from the prediction file as well. The only thing in this task is practice. Before you sleep, at least 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, you need to do 3 rounds, 10, 10, 10, and maybe 5 minutes to check all 30 answers. But as I said, check 10. Don't check every single answer because that is what you need to do in the real exam also. So friends, mistakes are going to prove very costly, but don't be afraid. With consistent practice, you will achieve your goals. It is not impossible. Thousands of students get 6, 7 or 8 or band 9 scores every day. Every day. There's nothing stopping you to achieve that goal. You can also do it. It's just a matter of practice and understanding what exactly is in the audio. What is the sentence about, and improving your spelling and sentence structure skills as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned everything about all important tasks, and I genuinely wish you all the best for your upcoming exam. Thank you so much.